What's going on, everyone? It's Ben from YGO from Zero with my final breaker format video. I know I said that in a previous video, but when I posted that video, Janjo from the Janjo Zone reached out to me and was like, you covered Dark Magician, you covered Blue Eyes, but you didn't actually feature a great showdown between the two classic anime archetypes. So I thought that was a good idea, so that's what we're going to do today. So I'm playing the Blue Eyes deck that I showed off in my last Blue Eyes video. It's basically, using Paladin of White Dragon to bring out Blue Eyes. It's also using Triple Book of Moon to pair with Paladin, because Paladin does have an additional effect to destroy a face-down defense position monster that it attacks into, which can come up. And the rest of the deck is pretty straightforward. We're playing the two Ritual Recruiters, Sonic Bird and Senju. Yeah, there's some interesting tech choices here. You can watch my other video on this deck for me to sort of go into more depth about what this deck is trying to do. But since I've covered that in a different video, I'm not going to go super in depth here. But what you got to know is that this deck is just trying to bring out Blue Eyes White Dragon, often using Paladin, but sometimes, you just hard bring it out. Things like Scientist can give you tribute fodder, and there are some other ways to get tribute fodder as well. And also, you can always revive this after discarding off something like Graceful or something like that. So there are a variety of ways to bring out Blue Eyes, and you may see Blue Eyes come out more than one time over the course of these matches. But I don't want to spoil anything more about these matches. I think they were really, really cool, really, really fun. So let's dive into them now. Okay, we've got a game against Janjo from the Janjo Zone here. If you're not already subscribed to their channel, link is in the description down below. But we are going to be diving into the game here with an intense rock, paper, scissors. And unfortunately, Blue Eyes will lose the rock, paper, scissors. Doesn't mean we're out of the match, though. So we can potentially come back from this. But let's see if Blue Eyes can beat the Dark Magician. I mean, Yugi's got the heart of the cards, so it might be a bit tough given that they're going first. But it looks like they don't really have much there. No hand rips for us. So we're very happy about that. We've got Sonic Bird, which we will fire before going for this Pot of Greed, just to deck them a little bit beforehand. And I do draw Paladin here, so we can just go for that. And, why not? They've got a monster in face-down defense position. There are two monsters that really punish this play, Sangan and Witch. But, having the Paladin, having these Books of Moons to protect the Paladin, or just to bring out Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is a very formidable monster, and with the Book of Moons, we can sort of protect against things like Snatch Steal. We've also got IO to protect against board clears, to clear the Blue Eyes that way. So I feel very, very good about this. We'll just attack in. Unfortunately, it is the Sangan, so they will indeed get a search here. But I think it was still worth doing. They're going to grab Magical Scientist, which makes this a little bit interesting here. We've got a Forceful because that Magical Scientist will cause us problems. We can bring out 1,000 out of tricks, suck up our Blue Eyes. Of course, we've got Book of Moon to flip down both the Scientist and the one trick that it's to bring out with priority. But that would require both of our Book of Moons, and I'm not really willing to go to that extreme. So we're going to take a peek at their hand with the Forceful here. And we're going to think about this, but I think we do just have to send back the Scientist. And we also see that they've got Sinister Serpent, Book of Moon, Double Mystical Space Typhoon, and Monster Reborn. Now, this is a bit interesting for tributing off Paladin, because since Paladin was properly summoned, our opponent can Monster Reborn it themselves. So if they do something like Monster Reborn or Paladin, Book of Moon, or Blue Eyes, then that could be pretty bad for us. We do have Book of Moon to book our own Paladin, which could be good. But this IO will not help against that play because they've got double MST. So we're going to send back Scientist and hope that this is enough. And I think we do just go for the Blue Eyes here. Because we've got the double Book of Moon as protection. I don't think I'm going to set both the Book of Moons. Maybe I should have because I've got the IO, but they've got double MST. So, my plan here kind of is that if they want to, MST one of our Black Row blind. If they hit the IO, then we're in a very good position because they have to use both MSTs to clear that IO, and then we've got left for their Book of Moon. But I think I maybe should just set the Book of Moon instead here, because if they've got MST, well, no, it's still fine, because if they've got MST for one of our back row and then they go for the MST on the other, then we'll be able to stick IO on the board. So, yeah, actually, I think this was probably the right play overall. But it's tough to say in hindsight. There are things that can punish it, but they're just going to set 2 and pass back to us, and I feel very fine about that. Painful is okay, but I don't even think we need it yet. We're just going to attack into their set with Blue Eyes and then attack in for 3,400 with this Lily here, getting in for major damage. Maybe we should have attacked in with Lily and then Blue Eyes in case it was the Serpent, but this gets in a little bit more damage, so I'm fine going for it. We're also good on life points, so I feel good about this. They're going to bring out a Skilled Dark Magician, fire a Mystical Space Typhoon. We've got the IO here, so we will chain that. They've got the other IO, so that will pop the IO there. But again, I feel fine about this. They're going to book our Lily, and, that is also fine. It also means that they're likely not going to go for the Paladin play here, which is honestly fine, because, we've got the book to stop that play anyways, so I think it's probably right just get the Dark Magician in rotation. They're going to try hitting over the Lily. We're just going to book that down. They're going to set one pass back to us. We draw a Breaker the Magical Warrior. We're just going to fiend out that set. Likely is the book, but at least this way the book is used up. And according to the rules of like changing battle position at this time, because they booked down our Blue Eyes this turn, we can't actually flip it back up again, because the battle position changed once this turn, and we can't use our manual battle position change after that's happened. Very weird ruling at the time, but it is how it goes in these old DM era formats. We're just going to clear the Dark Magician because I feel like that's good to do. This will cost us a fair amount of life points, but they're also down a fair amount of life points. We've got this Book of Moon to protect ourselves a little bit, and we can just pass back to them. We haven't fired this painful yet because we haven't really needed it. We want to save it for, if they top deck a board clear and we need a way to get another monster on field or something like that. So I feel perfectly fine about this. They're going to bring back the Dark Magician here, and that is fine by us. They're just going to attack into the Breaker here. We'll just let that go through. We could book it, but honestly, I feel fine with the board state as is. And we top deck Change of Heart, so that will just be the end of the game there. I mean, we could have probably painful 5 cards to just end the game here either way. But having the Change of Heart just, makes it nice and easy for us. So that will indeed be the end of the game there. And Blue Eyes, put up a very, very good showing in the first match, or the first game of the first match, I guess. It was really cool to see both Dark Magician and Blue Eyes hit the field, but I feel like our Blue Eyes just had the edge in that interaction. I mean, even set down, it had 2,500 defense, which Dark Magician can't get over. So very, very cool to see. We're going to go into game 2 here. Let's see if this game will be just as cool as the first one. Our opponent is again going to go first, and we open Blue Eyes. I mean, you don't generally want to open Blue Eyes. You want to bring out off of Paladin, but it's not the worst if you open it. Oh, Ring is pretty nice. We're going to go for Graceful here. And actually, that might just be the end of the game here. We're going to pitch the Blue Eyes and the Serpent here. Go for a Dark Magician, or not a Dark Magician, a Dark Hole, popping their Mystic Tomato, bringing out a Lily, reborning back this Blue Eyes, and we've got Ring for next turn. Now, it's not 100% guaranteed because we do know that they are playing Book of Moon, so we can't just shotgun this Ring. We might save it for if they fire Book of Moon on one of our monsters. Or if they've got like back row removal, we'll have to chain it. They do need to have back row removal, so we will indeed chain it, targeting our Blue Eyes. And if this goes through, it will be the end of the game. And it looks like they do have a book, but it looks like they choose not to do anything about that. I mean, they were dead here either way. If they booked the Blue Eyes, they don't have a way to get over it. I mean, they could like bring out Breaker or something, but that's putting them at awfully low life points. We've got Call of the Han to bring back another one of our monsters. I mean, they do have another MST there, but yeah, I feel like they were probably dead here either way, even though they didn't chain the book. But you generally want to chain book here, as chaining book will prevent Ray of Destruction from destroying the monster, as it does have to be face up. But still, very, very good game there. And because this went like relatively quickly, we actually did another one. Janjo says, I didn't hear no bell. I didn't either. So we are going to dive into the next one here. And we do indeed win the rock, paper, scissors for this one. So we will finally get to go first. Not that we needed it in those first 2 games there. But, this is a pretty great opening hand, honestly. We are going to go for duo here. Paying 1,000 and pitching hopefully 2 good ones. We hit a Breaker and a Reaper. That's honestly pretty good for us. We can fire this Mirage of Nightmare here, set 3, and pass back to our opponent. We set the White Dragon Ritual because our opponent is disincentivized to like Harpy's Feather Dust for our board here. So I figure it's probably safer on field than in the hand, in case we don't draw a way to out the Mirage. They do have the MST for the Mirage, though, so this could very easily backfire on us. They bring out Sangan, though, and that is fine. We'll take the 1,000, and they're just going to set 1 pass back to us. We draw Senju, so that is a monster. That's pretty nice. Also deck thins a little bit. We're going to Senju there, grabbing a Paladin of White Dragon. We now have the combo online if we want to go into it, but I feel like that's a little bit risky at this juncture. I mean, I guess we have these traps to protect ourselves a little bit, but I feel like we can like sort of bide our time with the Paladin in this game. So at least we'll see what they get with the Sangan here. It might be something that we want a Paladin on the next turn, right? Like if it's set face down, we can bring out Paladin, hit over it. But the fact that they're searching Tomato makes that not really likely because they're probably going to try and crash into the Senju here. They're going to bring out that Tomato. They are indeed going to try crashing into Senju. We're going to fire this Mirror Force, and they're going to pass back to us. We draw Witch, so we're just going to go for that. Hitting in for 2,500. Now, we could have gone for Paladin here yet again. But again, I'm trying to save the Paladin to get the most value here in case they set a monster or something. Of course, going for Paladin using the Witch on field as tribute is pretty nice as well because it gets us a search. But I think ultimately this plan is fine. We're playing it a little bit conservatively this game. They're going to bring out a skilled Dark Magician, and you know what? We're just going to fire Ring of Destruction on that. Dealing 1,900, dropping them down to 3,200, and they're almost dead here, so I feel very, very good about the situation. They're going to go for Snatch Steal, taking our Senju, which does keep them alive, as otherwise we could have just brought out Paladin using Witch, and that would be 3,300 damage on board. But as is, we probably are still in a very good spot here. Because if we just go for the White Dragon Ritual on the Witch, we get a search here. We're going to grab Injection Fairy Lily. I think, actually, I'm not sure if we're playing Breaker, but Breaker would have also done it. But yeah, we're just going to bring out that Lily, attack in over the Senju for 2,000 damage there, plus 1,900 off the Paladin. So, we didn't get to bring up Blue Eyes that time. I mean, I think we could have brought up Blue Eyes, but given the fact that they had a Snatch Deal, I think it ultimately was the right choice just to, save the Paladin for when it would get the most use there. And it really did help at the end of the game, just extending, getting the search off Witch. That was very, very nice. So, very, very cool to see. Hopefully we can bring out Blue Eyes again in this last game. Hopefully our opponent can bring out Dark Magician as well. So we get a final sort of rematch between Dark Magician and Blue Eyes. But this is a crazy opening hand. I mean, they could have, like, hand rips here. I mean, Pot of Greed's pretty good. They're just going to set 2, pass back to us. And I feel pretty good about this. We're going to go for Graceful here. We don't really have any monsters, so we feel the need to do this. We're going to pitch a Harpies and a Paladin. The reason we pitch Paladin is because we're playing 2 in deck, and we've also got Senju to search it out. So I figure it's fine to use a sort of Discord fodder here. We're going to attack in with the Tribe, hitting over their Witch, which is a bit unfortunate. They'll have a Tribe of their own. Luckily, Tribe can't out-Tribe with its effect because that will destroy itself as well, because they're both Aqua types. We're then going to set an Imperial Order and a Ring of Destruction, pass back to our opponent. We could have committed all our back row here, but I don't want to play into something like Harpies plus MST. And I feel like it's fine saving some. They're going to set 1, pass back to us. We draw Call of the Haunted, which isn't the best for us here, but it's not the worst either. We're going to hit in their set with the Tribe. They search out a Sangan, and we could potentially use Tribe here to pop the Sangan. And we do debate it. If they've got a Tribute Monster in hand, then this could be the right play here. But I think it's ultimately fine. We're just going to set a mirror or Call the Haunted here, just in case they clear our Tribe. We can bring back Tribe on the next turn and pass back to our opponent. They're going to Dark Hole the board, which will let them get a search with Sangan. They're going to search out this Spirit Reaper here and bring out Spirit Reaper, try attacking in to our life points directly, but we do have the call to bring back Tribe, so this will prevent them from getting in. We also have the Tribe to clear the Reaper next turn, so I feel pretty good about this. We're going to fire the Tribe, pitching this MST on the Reaper. We're going to chain Io to the Book of Moon that they chained to that, so that will prevent the Reaper from being flipped down, and it will also let us, get in for 1,600 here. Main 2, we're just going to set this Magician Face, set a Mirror Force, pass back to our opponent. Our back row is pretty well preserved, as they'd have to have, like, Breaker Harpies to clear this back row. That would be very good if they do have it, but, if they do have that, we can always ring the Breaker, so it's not really that bad. They're going to bring out this Tribe Infecting Virus, and they're going to choose not to pry, which I think makes sense. That would just clear both of our tribes. And they're going to hit into our set. We've got this Mirror Force here, so they will just take that. They do think about it, though, so they might have like a Book of Moon or something, but they can't fire that with Io on field. We draw another spell, and we could potentially let the Io lapse because we are going to have the Magician Faith online to get back Graceful. But I'm not sure that's really necessary. I think we're in a pretty good position. So we are just going to, pay 700. We are going to flip up the Magician of Faith just in case. And then we're going to hit in for 1,900. We've got this Ring of Destruction to protect our Magician of Faith if they do bring out like a Lily to hit in here, but we're also ahead on life points here. So I think this is fine. They are going to summon out Skilled Dark Magician, try and hit into our Tribe here. We're going to think about this, but we are indeed going to ring that Skilled Dark Magician. So they'll drop down to 2600. I feel like we're in a very, very good position here. We are just going to let the IO lapse here so we can fire the Graceful, try and get something good here that will win us the game. We draw into our third Book of Moon, which is very funny to see us drawing into that. We actually pitched the Dark Hole and a copy of Book of Moon. Book of Moon because we had got 2 others in hand. Dark Hole because we're ahead on the board, and we also have Raigeki in hand here. We're just going to blind MST their back row. It is a book, so that will flip down our tribe there. And unfortunately, we can't flip it up because, again, given the way the battle position change rules work in this format, we can't quite do that. We're just going to set this book, pass back to our opponent. If they board clear our board here and then summon on a monster, we can book that. If they just try attacking into our Faith, we can book the Faith and get back another spell. So either way here, I'm feeling pretty good. They're going to go for a premature burial, targeting the tribe here. So that's kind of unfortunate. They are going to pitch Sinister Serpent, trying to pop our Faith. We've got the book for that, so that will flip down the Faith. And they're going to think about this, and then they are going to tribute that off for a Dark Magician Girl. Very, very cool to see. Kind of like a janky strat for Dark Magician, but still a very iconic anime card. So very, very awesome to see it in this iconic anime duel. They're going to clear the tribe because, that will clear the Dark Magician Girl next turn. So they do have to do that, and they're going to pass back to us. We draw a Fiber Jar here, so we don't quite have enough to end the game. So we are just going to flip up this Magician of Faith, grabbing this Graceful Charity here. They say that, if this was a, sort of serious deck, this would be Jinzo. But even if it was Jinzo, it wouldn't actually matter in this case because I think we do just probably win the game here. And we actually are able to win the game in a very, very cool way. We could just, change of heart and attack in with the monsters on field. But since we did draw Blue Eyes, we can change of heart, tribute their board, summon out Blue Eyes, and hit in with the Burst Stream of Destruction, attacking in for 3,000 damage. Blue Eyes showing its supremacy in this match, and that will indeed be the end of the game there. So very, very cool to see Blue Eyes take all the W's that game. And, I think it's just awesome to see that both these decks are sort of, competent rogue strategies. Like in the past DM formats, they've sort of been around. You could play a Blue Eyes or Dark Magician deck, but there wasn't really much reason to. But now in Breaker, you can actually have justifiable reasons for playing these cards. Are they tier 1 meta threats? Probably not. But are they definitely like fun rogue options? Yes, they are. And I think that's really, really cool to see. But what do you think of these two decks? Do you think that I'm sort of overhyping them, or do you think that the fact that these decks are somewhat playable in these formats is very, very cool to see? Also, if you enjoy this sort of content, definitely subscribe to the channel, and also go on over to Janjo's channel and subscribe to him. He doesn't do as many like gameplay videos, but he does do general overviews of the old DM era formats and beyond. So if you enjoy this sort of content, you'll probably enjoy that sort of content as well. Also, be sure to leave this video a like. It really does help out the channel a lot. But now that we've had this video, we are finally going to be diving into the next format I'm going to cover, which is Vampire format. So look forward to that. The guide should be coming hopefully later this week. So I'm really excited to dive into that new format with y'all. And also, if you want to sort of be with me as I dive into that format and also play any of the formats that featured on the channel for yourself, we have a Discord server, links in the description, great place to find games in this and many other formats. But that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video as always, and until next time, I've been Ben from YGO from Zero, and I'm signing off.